Teacher talking sports, what it does, what it do, how we live in game manager, system quarterback. Those are some of the things we've heard about Brock Purdy. It's kind of become the cool thing to be a non-believer of Brock Purdy despite the winning, despite the excellent stats he puts up. It was a near universal celebration when he struggled against the Ravens. Well, not by 49ers fans, but by the non-believers. Well, enter Amy Trask into this as well. Now, Amy Trask was the Raiders CEO from, I believe, 1997 to 2013. She's now hosts her own podcast, What the Football. And she had this to say about Brock Purdy and the other quarterbacks still in the playoffs.
4 games this week. That means we have 8 quarterbacks. Did that math all by myself. Good girl. 4 games, 8 quarterbacks, 7 terrific quarterbacks, and Brock Purdy.
All right. So we heard what she just said. She's going to try to make it not seem as much of a diss towards Brock Purdy as right there, but pretty much right then and there, she knew she was going to get fans angry, essentially calling him the worst starting quarterback still in the postseason.
Now, Brock Purdy is a good quarterback. Make no mistake about it. Everybody be calm, 49er fans. I'm not suggesting Brock's not a good quarterback. He is. I simply don't put him in the same category as the other quarterbacks. So I'll say it again. 8 quarterbacks, 7 terrific quarterbacks, and Brock Purdy.
What don't you like about him?
It's not that I don't like him. It's not that I dislike him. He does things very well. He is surrounded by a tremendous supporting cast, both on offense and defense. He is a good quarterback. I don't put him in the category of the other 7.
And that's what we hear from a lot of his non-believers, how he has such an extraordinary group of teammates, as if none of the other all-time great quarterbacks didn't have likewise. Peyton Manning had Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Edgerrin James, John Elway at the end of his career, Rod Smith, Ed McCaffrey, Terrell Davis, Shannon Sharp. Tom Brady had teammates such as Randy Moss, Wes Welker, Rob Gronkowski. The list goes on. Joe Montana and Steve Young, of course, Jerry Rice, Roger Craig, Ricky Waters. But anyhow, yes, that's what we hear, that Brock Purdy just has this extraordinary group of teammates, and it makes it seem as if anybody can do what he's doing. Well, Tony Dungy responded to this, and that was from ML Football's X page. I think we have someone who hasn't watched much tape. Brock Purdy has been balling all year. That is the truth. 69.4 completion percentage, 4,280 yards, 9.6 yards per attempt, 31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, a 113 rating, led the NFL rating, QBR, yards per attempt, and touchdown percentage. Well, Amy Trask was invited to 95.7 The Game. That is a San Francisco sports radio station. So Amy Trask responds after saying Brock Purdy not in the same category as 7 other playoff quarterbacks on 95.7 The Game. Basically trying to further explain what she meant by her. So after Willard and Dibbs, I guess they're the radio hosts, criticized Trask for the take, they had her on to share her opinion. Trask admitted that it may be harsh, but didn't change the stance. So yes, the other 7 quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, CJ Stroud, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love. So the article also mentions how all threw for fewer yards and touchdowns, had a lower quarterback rating, both types of QB rating, EPA per play, and adjusted net yards per attempt than Purdy. Here was Trask's response to Willard when asked if Mayfield is better than Purdy. I think Baker Mayfield is doing what he's doing with far less talent around him than Brock has around him, Trask said. Now, maybe I didn't explain that, although I do think I was very clear that I think Brock is a very good quarterback. I don't know if you made that very clear, and that I think he's surrounded by a tremendous cast that the 49ers, John Lynch and the 49ers have put together. So when I say that I think Baker Mayfield is doing more, it's because I think he's doing more with far less. And she also mentions, I think it's a fair point you make that terrific may have been an overstatement as to some. That's a fair criticism. Again, I do think Brock is good. I do think Patrick Mahomes terrific. Josh Allen terrific. Lamar Jackson, those three are super duper terrific. It may have been an overstatement about some of the others, but no, I don't think it's a demerit. I absolutely don't. But I do think that if you are building a team and you don't have the cast that the 49ers have so marvelously assembled, then having a quarterback who can do a lot with less is something to consider. I'll stop reading there. So again, just another person who is basically shoo-shooing what Brock Purdy has done this year. Again, she is saying that he's good, but I think part of that is because she knows that she would get absolutely destroyed by a lot of people if she didn't mention that. And I mean, Baker Mayfield, yes, he's having a very good season, but let's not act like they don't have any weapons whatsoever. Godwin and Evans is one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL. And I think a lot of people assume that the 49ers have a great offensive line because they have Trent Williams, who probably is the best offensive lineman currently in the game. But other than that, it's nothing to write home about. So, again, Kyle Shanahan, yes, does marvelous work with quarterbacks, but I think Brock Purdy definitely deserves more credit than he's getting. I mean, look at someone like Dak Prescott, basically, calling out Purdy during the Ravens game, but every time somebody would say something about Dak, he would get angry. I'm pretty sure it was radio silence about his and Dak Prescott's performance in that Packers game. But what are your thoughts on what Amy Trask had to say? Would you rank Brock Purdy as the worst starting quarterback still around in the postseason? Let me know in the comments. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.